Well, hey everybody, how you doing? Dave Fennoy here. Another Wednesday evening, and we are together again. Want to remind you, all the Ask Dave Fennoy Anythings live on my YouTube channel, Dave Fennoy Voiceover Training. If you are interested in coaching with me, davefennoy.com. And by the way, there's several different things you can do. An individual 50-minute, 30-minute, or 15-minute package. Sometimes 15 minutes. You want to get some help with an audition or something. Somehow I always tend to go over time on the 15 minutes. I shouldn't say that now. That's all whatever you guys are going to book. But just go to the website, davefennoy.com. You'll see it right at the top. Study VO, and I can do my very best to help you. I'd like to get right into our guest this evening. She has had a wonderful career, 20 years or so, 20 years plus. She'll correct me if I'm wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, Tracy Lindley. Oh, and you know what?
Hello.
I just made a mistake there. Let's do this and that. And there she is.
Hey, Dave.
How are ya?
Okay, I'm good. I am going to have to correct you because I didn't start doing voiceover till 2014, but I just hadn't kind of dipped my foot in with the internship. So you have that right. I
Well,
just didn't know at the time what it was.
I want to hear that. It's interesting because my first, my first introduction to voiceover was voiceover. What's voiceover? And I should have known better because I was knocking on the door to go into radio. I was
Okay.
not that smart back then. So let's talk about your origin story. And it sounds to me that you had that light bulb moment. You didn't do anything about it for a while, maybe, but you had the light bulb moment. Tell us about that.
Well, I don't live in a state that voiceover is a commonly known industry and profession. I live in the Kansas City, Missouri area. And if I tell people even now I'm a voice actor, they're like, what is that? They think it's a radio DJ. They think that's what it is. They don't know. And so I just tell them, no, I mean, people do this from home, but that's what I didn't know back as a college intern at a cable company. I was pursuing a communication degree, which I did get. But at the time, I was like, man, I'm kind of getting towards the end of my college years. I got to figure out what I'm going to do with my life. So I started doing internships and job shadowing and things like that. And so for a short time, I worked as an ad exec at a cable company. And then the producer kind of, one day was like, hey, he hands me this piece of paper. You have a nice voice. Can you read this? And it was very easy for me. I jumped in the booth and read this commercial. And I did 3 quick ticks and they were like, yeah, that's within time. We like the way you're doing the inflections. Your voice sounds good. Well, that's a wrap. Here's your $20, right? Now, to be fair, it was local broadcast only, but still, we don't do it for $20. Just anybody who's new, we don't do anything for $20. No.
So,
But I didn't know any better.
That's what got you the bug.
So I loved it, yes, but I didn't know what it was even called. I didn't know what the term was. I just knew that I went in a closet, read this piece of paper, and I got my $20 and didn't have to sell plasma. I have the scars to prove it. That is how I paid for college.
Oh
That
my
scholarships
goodness.
and the Pell
Oh.
Grant and just, oh man. I don't love needles, but I still will donate blood every now and then.
Well, if only
Anyway,
you could have found a rich vampire.
I don't know. I was just trying to make it through college, so I got out of there somehow.
Okay, so
Anyway,
you
years
did
go
that.
by.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So the years go by, and I keep in touch with everybody. Like Dave, I'm sorry to have to tell you this, but we're going to be friends for life. When I start getting to know somebody, we will be friends for eternity. So
Well, that's
I kept in
okay.
touch with this producer. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad that's all right with you because it's kind of non-optional at this point. But so I kept in touch with this producer, and he gets a hold of me. It's like how many years later? It would have been I had had my 3rd child by that point, and she was born in 2013. So, yeah, and I graduated college in 2004. So, yeah, it was nearly a decade later. And he's like, "Hey, I need you to come in and read this." And I'm like, at that point, I am struggling as a mom, and any young moms who might be watching, it's a struggle bus, and I was on it. So I'm just trying to keep my head above water, parenting and everything. So I'm like, I can't tote these 3 kids into the studio to read in your closet anymore for $20. I just can't do it. I said it nicely. But then he said the magic words to me. He said, "Did you know you can do this from home?" No, I didn't know that. So he said it's called voiceover, and that's all it took for me, Dave. I
Wow.
knew that I loved it. I knew that I was pretty good at it. I just had a natural ability. I mean, I'm not good at any sports. Like, people always ask me, "Did you play basketball? Did you play volleyball?" Because of my height. I'm not naturally good at anything. So, but I was pretty naturally good at voiceover, and I'd finally found my thing. So, here we go. I start Googling, I start watching the shows at the time, like, VO Buzz Weekly, all the good stuff.
Chuck and
So,
Stacy.
yep. But there was no Ask Dave Fennoy, or I probably would have been there watching.
In some
So,
ways, I came late to the game doing the podcast, the broadcast thing. It's been about 3 years now, and they were doing
that's
VO
great.
Buzz Weekly's been on. Oh God, it's so much longer. Uh, but as I look at it now, even though felt like I was kind of late, I was still pretty early.
Yeah,
Because
there's still
there's
new
just a
podcasts and things
millions
popping
and
up.
millions of voiceover podcasts happening now, with a lot of
Mhm.
talented people, and it's funny because often I'll have somebody like you on, and then we end the show, and they, oh, by the way, Dave, listen, can I get you on my podcast? And so we're swapping appearances.
There
Well,
you go.
that sounds great. So he's booked you for a job. Was this something that became steady work with this producer, or what did you do
Mm,
next?
not really. So, I mean, I didn't have any clients. This wasn't really somebody that I would want to consider a client because it was $20, and that's not gonna be that doesn't even
It
pay
was
for
still $20.
pizza. Yes. Yes. So this is a local broadcast station in the city where I actually live is 75,000 people. Regardless, I found out that this was called voiceover, so I started researching and doing it on my own, and that is the key to where my career came from is research. That's why what you are offering with this show is so valuable because I found so many of the answers to common questions, microphones, home studios, who produced your demo, how do I need a website, how do I find business? All of these frequently asked questions are going to be, they're probably living here on your YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because they
So
all
you can find
live
out a lot
on
of
the
information
YouTube
for
channel.
free.
Yeah. And all the shows are there from way back. Thanks for giving me a chance to plug that again. Ask Dave
Yeah,
Fennoy anything YouTube. The channel is called Dave Fennoy Voiceover Training, and this will be
and that's
there later
fantastic.
tonight.
And this is fantastic because for someone to be able to actually interact with a veteran in the industry like you, that's incredibly valuable. I didn't really have people that I could ask a lot of things for, except you know who really was instrumental? I know you know her, Jody Krangle. Got to
Oh
give her a
yeah,
shout out.
yeah.
Jody was one of the first people to sort of interact with me on LinkedIn when I first joined. And I discovered some groups, voiceover groups, and I struck up a conversation with her and we ended up emailing and she was kind of like my own personal Dave Fennoy. I could ask Jody anything. So a partnership and a mentorship. She didn't really know she was going to be my mentor at the time, but she was very instrumental in helping me make the right decisions on a lot of things.
So
So
how did you find her?
well, she just kind of was involved in the community that I was LinkedIn has groups
Yeah.
and they've become pretty spammy at this point. I don't hang out in groups anymore. I just start my own conversations on my own profile page and stuff. But yeah, she was in a group, kind of like a Facebook group. LinkedIn has groups too. So you can just interact with people. And that's just kind of how it started.
And let's dive a little bit more into LinkedIn. I know you do some teaching, but not voiceover itself, but how to build a career with the help of LinkedIn. Uh, and I want to start with what you did and what are some of the thoughts you have about how to approach LinkedIn and the people you're trying to get in touch with to build a career.
Well, the great thing about LinkedIn is I have the free version, and I usually tell people I wouldn't spend the money on the professional version because you can do so much with the free one. What LinkedIn does that's different than other social media platforms is that people are already primed for business conversations, for professional networking opportunities. Whereas if you start reaching out to me on Instagram and you want me to refer you, for what Instagram is less about business than LinkedIn is or TikTok or whatever. It's more social, it's more for fun. We're all scrolling on it before we go to bed or whatever, even though we're not supposed to be looking at that blue light. Um, but anyway, LinkedIn is more of a place of let's do business here. Let's have professional conversations. And people don't talk about the everyday type of things as much as they talk about everything has to have a professional spin. So you can still talk about your kids or your dog or your cat or what have you, but it needs to have a more professional spin to it when you're having those conversations. But LinkedIn is really, I tell people it's like a mini website. If you think about it, you've got your about page, you've got your demos, you even have recommendations, which is kind of like your testimonial section on your webpage. It's got it all. It's got your contact information. Whereas another platform like Instagram, it's got just a few lines at the top, and you can do a link tree to all that stuff, but you have to click off the site to get there. LinkedIn allows you to put everything right there on your profile.
Well, see,
So.
that's great. So people can find you and discover what you do, hear your demos, and so forth. But
Mhm.
how did you build your audience of prospective clients with LinkedIn?
Well, it's not really that mysterious, but it did take a lot of time, trial, and error. I can tell you that. But when I first jumped on in 2014, I was doing just what everybody else was. I was doing like a selfie for my profile pic. I was putting the bare bones minimum information. I probably copied and pasted my about section from my website, which is a no no as well for SEO purposes. You don't have duplicate copy. But I didn't do anything with it. I just let it sit there like everybody else does, and I didn't use it for anything. But then I actually had people that would start reaching out to me to connect. And when I would connect back, sometimes they would write a little message. And I was like, okay, that's cool. Well, then I had a guy at a product, he was a video producer. This was about a year after I started to use it, or maybe a year and a half. I had a guy reach out and say, hey, I have this voiceover script. How much would you charge me for this? And do you have the time to do it? And he sent me a script in the DMs and basically was asking for a quote. So that was my light bulb moment. That was the moment where I realized that this could be a powerful free marketing tool. And it wasn't like any of the other social media platforms. It was its own unique special tool. So uh, I started communicating with this producer. I didn't end up getting that particular job, but then he came back to me a few months later and offered me one, and I did get that. And that boosted my confidence because once you get those bookings, and
Oh, yeah.
especially when you get them on your own, it just feels so good. Sorry, fighting a cold over here.
Careful, you're going to give that to me.
Mhm. No, that's the great thing about virtual chats, right?
Yeah.
I'll keep all the cooties over here.
Well, that sounds great. And somebody reached out to you, but I know that you started reaching out to other people. People have asked me about LinkedIn, and often I've said, "Hey, it's a good place to get your career going." But there's something you don't want to just, oh, who are all the broadcast producers? Click, 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 click. Hi, I want to work. How do you
Well,
approach people that might be your prospective clients?
I'll give you the 3 LinkedIn marketing steps, okay? So it's 3 basic steps, and obviously there's more information around those steps, but the first one is to optimize your profile. Don't start reaching out to people until you have optimized your profile so that it looks really good. It does have examples of your work. It has your contact information. It has some at least 3 referrals. recommendations from people you've worked with, or for new people, coaches. And for new people who don't have any body of work, they can create a video out of their audio demo that they get from their producer, things like that. Or you can create your own content where, anything where your voice is being heard in a professional way. That works. So we can create our own content now. We don't always have to rely on a professional piece of work. It's okay.
Yes, it is a do-it-yourself world now.
It really is. So that's step one, optimize your profile. Step two is to search and connect with the people that would hire voice talent. So, for instance, you and I both do a lot of commercials, right?
Yeah.
So, video producer is a commonly used job title, wouldn't you say?
Oh,
Or
absolutely.
creative director? Yeah. So you think about job titles of people that would hire you. So creative director, but then you have to qualify them as well, because people that make videos, they might be a wedding videographer, or they might make music videos. So they don't need a voice talent. So that's why you have to go to their profile and take a look and make sure that that's a good fit. Don't just start spamming everybody, because you don't want to waste their time. You also want to look for people that have good quality work, so that you're not working with somebody because if their work isn't good, their rates aren't good. So you don't want to work with them anyway. It's very telling. If the quality of their work is poor, then their rates are probably pretty low too.
So you're not just looking for any particular job. Please just let me do something. You're looking for people who have quality work.
Yeah. I'm looking for a long-term relationship. I'm not looking just, for a one gig thing. I want to build a relationship, because that is how I have developed my business. And that's why I'm successful, because I have repeat clients. So when you get those repeat clients that keep coming back, I get stuff in my inbox. Like, I sat around today and watched Legally Blonde with my 14-year-old. Yes, I did, because I don't feel very good. And then I got an email that said, "Oh, such and such commercial is renewing. We're going to send you a check for X amount of money."
Don't you love
Uh,
when that happens?
I do. I do love those. And so that is the work of, agents and managers. That kind of thing is typically going to come through them. But there's tons of work. I just got paid for some e-learning modules that I did, some really large ones that have bigger paychecks because there's more content. I made a slew of money for just like a bunch of small commercials, like digital ads, but they wanted 9 of them. It's just stuff like that. It's
It
random
adds up.
things. Yes, and it
And
doesn't
one
have
of
to
the
be the
things you
sexy
mentioned,
jobs.
repeat business, clients that keep coming back. That is the foundation of a great career.
Mhm.
I have some clients I've had for 20, 30 years that keep coming back, and God bless them. Thank you. It's
Yes.
wonderful when you get those one-offs. Uh, even most people know me for video games these days, but it used to be that was a one-off. Now, games update, and you can play various characters. Which leads me to another question. How many genres of voiceover are you working in?
Um, I don't know exactly. Let me count. Let me just tell you, and you can count with me or whatever. But about 60% of my business is commercials, which is why I want more of that work. It pays well. It's really fast. Sometimes it requires a directed session, which I'm fine with and actually enjoy, and sometimes it doesn't. So commercials would be my number one genre. I also do a lot of e-learning work, but only with about 3 regular clients, but they just send me so much work that it's very lucrative. I also I also do a lot of work with iHeartRadio. So they send me a ton of stuff. So that goes back in the commercial, but they're one of my biggest clients. But for example, I used to do a lot of work with Pandora and Sirius XM. I hardly ever hear from them anymore. And that's okay. That is why you need more and more and more clients, because Pandora used to be a huge part of my business. And then they expanded their talent pool, and I just kind of got, less and less and less work. And I'm fine with it, because other work picked up. So besides e-learning, I also do corporate narration, just like industrials, they'd be called in the union world. And I'm FI-Core, so I can do both union and non-union, which is great for me. And I personally don't use the benefits, because I use my husband's healthcare and stuff, but it's great if you're looking for the benefits, and you can convert non-union work to union work to help with the healthcare and pension. Um, but yeah, and
I was
I
going
think
to just
that's
say thank you for bringing up the union. Gives me a chance to give a plug. We as workers in this country are much better off as members of a union so that we can bargain collectively.
Mhm.
Because the people that hire us aren't just paying us wages because they're nice. And people have fought and lost their lives over the decades uh, to bring decent wages, and it's a constant fight. It's never going to go away.
Yeah, we're right in the middle of it right now.
Yes, we are.
And yeah, there's a lot of changes happening. And we'll have to talk about Nava and the changes they're making too.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
I am really bad about finishing what I've started to say, Dave. And the last thing I was going to say about the genres is I started working in promos not last fall, but the fall before. I get some promo opportunities
Ah,
through DPN. Yes.
now let me
And
ask
I
you: so
took
had you done promos, or did DPN say, "Hey, you know what? Here's some promo auditions. Let's see what you can do."
well, I really didn't have the opportunity because I didn't have any promo avenues
Hmm.
before I got on with DPN. I got on with them in, I think it was 2023. Yeah. And so it
Two
was
years ago.
2023. Yeah, it hasn't been that long, but it's been a whirlwind.
So
But
let me ask you
anyway,
that: was DPN your first agent, or had you had agents before?
no. I just got on with them and I've had regional agents since probably my third year of over. Because that's really where most people should be starting, unless they're like, I don't know, Gabe Kunda or somebody.
Oh,
But most of
he
us,
came out of the box.
you just
Great.
bam,
Uh,
right to
I'll
the top.
tell you a
What a
quick
talent!
story. I was in Dallas at a convention signing autographs and whatnot, and this handsome young black man came up and, "Hello, I'm Gabe Kunda, and I'm a big fan
In
of
his
yours,
voice.
and I'm doing voiceover work, and I was wondering if you could give me some advice." And I said, "Well, not right now because I'm doing this." But we talked later on. He let me hear his demos, and I said, "Dude, just keep doing what you're doing. This is going to happen for you." And he has a
Mhm.
wonderful career now, doing so many things, and he's such a great guy. I'm just happy to see someone so talented, such a wonderful person, take off and do well.
Well, and what an encouragement you were for him, for somebody that he looked up to be so encouraging and say such kind things. I love that. And that's exactly who you are, Dave. And there's so many wonderful people in the industry that we're in. It happened to me. I met Mary Lynn Wisner in 2016 at a conference, and she was so sweet to me. And I really looked up to her. I had seen, her interview on VO Buzz Weekly and like seen her online. And I just thought she was really cool. And then I met you in 2018 and I was trying to not fangirl over you, but at the time I was like, that's Dave Fennoy.
Ah,
So nobody's a diva in this industry. Like people are just so sweet and down to earth. It's amazing. I love it.
we are very fortunate. I don't know why that is, what blessing we got that in voiceover, uh, 99% of the people are just cool. They're just
Amazing.
um, often when I'm meeting people who are trying to fanboy or fangirl out, I want to tell them, hey, look, I'm just a regular guy. I have a very cool job. I'm glad you enjoy my work, but let's talk as colleagues and human beings. Don't put me on the pedestal so I can't just connect with you. Because when people
Yep.
put you too high, it really disturbs the possibilities for friendship, relationship, and that kind of thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Keep it
let's
real.
talk studio. What's your booth like? You have a 416 there, don't you?
Yes, this is the only thing that can work in my noisy home. It's noisy on the inside. The outside is great. I live on 4 acres and it's very quiet, but the
Yeah,
inside of my home, I have
four
4
kids.
children. Yeah. So they take up a lot of room and make a lot of noise. I've got 2 at camp right now and one's working and the other one is quiet. She's the only
Okay.
quiet one out of 4.
Now, is this a built-in booth or is this a booth you bought?
This used to be a coat closet, a big coat closet. So I just converted it, and this half is my studio, and the other half is where I sit at my desk and I will edit audio and respond to emails and do marketing and my LinkedIn stuff. But yeah, so I just sit over here and record. And so it's divided by a curtain because it's just too big. It was too echoey. So it's got a lot of great ventilation and it stays really nice and cool in the summer because it's in the basement. I see, all the lady voices complaining about the boob sweat, and I'm like, nope, nice and cool over here. Oh, you're not in the same Facebook groups as me? Okay, I guess you
Oh,
haven't seen
no.
that. Go ask Mo, she
Boob
knows.
sweat. Yeah.
Boob sweat is a thing.
Yeah, she's mentioned it from time to time when it's been really
It's
hot.
the trickle.
I never thought about it with women in the booth doing
Oh, we
voiceover.
get oh yeah. I hear about all the sweat happening.
Well, that's why they have
People
those
are
whole
stripping
body.
down to their skivvies.
That's why they have those whole body deodorants now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And when did that
But this
happen?
one's
It
nice
seems
and
like
cool.
suddenly 2 or 3 years ago. So, oh, we've got deodorant not just for under your arms, but everywhere.
Everywhere.
Anyway, let's take some questions here. Get some comments from somebody. There's Joy West, who pops in every week. And she says, "Hello, Dave and Tracy from Southfield, Michigan. I'm a voice
All
actor
right.
who do it all, but my specialty is animation, anime, and video games. And being in Southfield, Michigan, I am sure Tracy has some information that will help you. The world has become a little different now. When I got into this business, I came to LA in 1990. You had to have an agent, you had to be in the union, and you really needed to be in LA or New York or Chicago to do this business effectively. Maybe San Francisco. Uh, but now, like Tracy, you can do it from everywhere.
Yeah, although the 3 categories of voiceover that she mentioned, I don't do. I
Yeah.
don't do anime dubbing, I don't do animation projects, and I've only been in, like, one tiny little PC video game, so
But you know
I
what,
don't specialize
Tracy?
in it.
How you use LinkedIn to find clients and commercials and narration, I'm sure Joy could find clients in anime and animation and video games if she's going in that direction. What you're talking about, and you have a course, you're not teaching it personally, hands on with people back and forth, but you have created a course about how to use LinkedIn to build your business. And if I'm not mistaken, I read on your website that it's for more than just voiceover people. Tell me about that.
Well, I launched it. It was called the LinkedIn Edge, and then it's still called the LinkedIn Edge for freelancers, but then I divided it and made it the VO Edge for voice actors so that I could specialize in just teaching voice actors only and then also having a course for freelancers. So the voedge.com is where voice actors can go. It's still the same price it was when I launched it in, let's see, it was the end of 2017.
What?
And I
No
have updated it.
inflation?
Oh, I know. I know. One of the few areas where there is no inflation. Although I'm gonna have to raise the price at some point because it is a very valuable class. If you book one $300, because it's $297, that's it. If you book one $300 job, which is basically that's my minimum, then you've gotten the price of the course back.
Yeah.
But you're exactly right. You can use the principles to get all kinds of work in whatever genre. There are some that are exclusive where you have to get them through an agent, and you don't start approaching casting directors on LinkedIn. That's a don't do. Let me grab a drink of water. But I never shared step 3 either. I need to go back to that. See, I told you I was bad. Okay. These headphones keep slipping too. So Joy and whoever else who wants to go find some business in whatever area that you want to pursue, the first step is optimize your profile. The second step is search and connect with the people who need your services. So figure out either the production, like the
I
type of
lost you there
production
for a
company.
minute for some reason.
Oh, can you hear me okay? I can see the wave moving on the bottom of my screen. So I think it's working. Yeah, it says it's still working.
I picked up my phone to look at what time it was, just to follow myself, and my headpiece for my phone was sitting there, and suddenly I couldn't hear you because my phone connected with
Going
my
through your phone.
earpiece, or the computer connected with my earpiece, which drives me nuts. So I missed a little bit of that, but nobody else
Okay.
did. Nobody else did.
No. Okay, that's good. So step 1, step 2, I've already covered. Step 3 is to once someone connects back with you on LinkedIn, someone that you wanna work with, that's when you communicate with them in a non-spammy way. That is step 3. So you're basically going to customize a message to them. So if somebody wants to get into video games, then you have a template for that. But then you go ahead and personalize the front bit of your message by looking at that person's profile, finding out a little bit about them, their work, something that you can use as common ground. As I said, I don't think it's rocket science. I just put together the pieces, connected the dots, and I don't think I'm any kind of genius. It's just that I started doing this. It works for me. It's worked for dozens, if not hundreds of other people over the years who I hear from that say that if they are using the LinkedIn marketing method that I teach them, it's actually working and helping them get business. And I love when I get to hear that.
Well, being smart is wonderful, but just because you're smart doesn't mean you're going to be successful. It takes doing something, getting good at it, and doing it over and over again. And right now, I'm not talking about the voiceover work, I'm talking about how you promote yourself. And we are in a do it yourself world now. I was very fortunate to come up in the time of agents, um, and going to somebody else's studio. People who are getting in this business over the last 7 or 8 years, it's a whole different world. There was
Yeah.
a time you couldn't be working from where you are.
No. And I realize that, and I'm grateful for the way that technology has evolved. Because you're right, I wouldn't have a job right now living in Missouri.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And I can't get my husband to move,
it
so
also means there's a lot more competition.
that's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
I've heard salespeople say that when you're reaching out, don't expect to get something positive to happen until you hit about 5 touches with your client. When I'm talking to people about sending their demos out to agents, I say, first of all, don't expect them to call you next week or next month. But keep in touch with them. And if you hear anything back, even a thank you, but no thank you, thank them and stay in touch from time to time. Get in touch.
Mhm.
And I somehow think that is part of what you do.
Yeah, I mean, this industry takes a lot of tenacity. It even takes thick skin. I don't know about you, but I usually hear nice things from people, but today I actually heard from a client who I had to do a little e-learning bit. I had to play a customer in a retail situation. And I kid you not, I got this email back from the client that said, "This sounds skeptical and sarcastic and negative. We need you to do this again." And I was like, "Dang, you could have sugarcoated a little bit for me. You could have just said it nicer." But the point of that story is we all need to get some thick skin, okay? Get some thick skin and get used to I don't know if you caught that, Dave. I think I froze there for a second.
Yeah, you
Are you
did, but
still
that's
there?
okay. Get some thick skin and
Okay, so the audio some thick skin and get used to rejection.
what is up with
It's
this
okay.
audio?
Don't take it personally. Hmm?
For
Is
some
it
reason, my
the audio
audio is going in and out. I have no idea why. This has never happened before. Let me look at system output. That's where it should
let's
be.
see. Check, check.
Um,
Looks like my audio is still connected on my side.
I think it actually was a connection with my headphones. There you go.
Okay.
So everybody
Hopefully
else got to
everybody
hear what you had to say. It was just me that missed it.
well, I just believe in staying positive, surrounding yourself with positive people, and also an accountability group or some kind of workout group. Those are great. Did you feel like you had that,
Oh,
or did you have
oh,
like in person more?
well, you know what? I noticed once I'd gotten here, I'd been here for a few months. I was still taking classes with various people. And then I ran into somebody at my agent's, and they were talking about a workout group. Workout group? What's a workout group? I said, oh, we get together a couple times a month, go to somebody's
Lift the
house,
weights.
and we read copy and critique one another. And so I put together a workout group with a number of people, most of whom now have varying degrees of success in voiceover, but all have success. And I found out there was something special about the workout group that I didn't suspect. That first 15 or 20 minutes before we actually started reading, we got to talk to each other about what was going on in our careers. And this can be a very lonely career, especially
Yes.
now. I think more so now than before because we're all in our home studios.
Mhm.
But when you have somebody other than your wife, your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your mom, your dad, who are on the same path and understand what you're going through, can
Mhm.
relate to your success and cheer with you, or those things that aren't working out so well and commiserate with you. That's special. That's
Yeah.
special. And for a while, that kind of went away as we were getting into the world of the computer and cyberspace. But I think it has come back with some of the groups you were talking about and Facebook, where we can connect. And sometimes I'll have a Zoom chat with somebody. Just, hey,
Yeah,
let's talk. That kind of thing.
absolutely.
So we
I
need each other.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And a lot of times, you can be part of a class like Nava. I'm the director of education at Nava, and we have classes, and that actually really fills my cup of just camaraderie, learning together, asking questions, little jokes. Watching the chat room is entertaining. I mean, I just think that human interaction is so important to keep our spirits up. It was really, really important in 2020 and 2021. We needed to keep our spirits up and find positive ways to stay joyful. And I think anytime you can connect with people like that, it's going to keep you moving forward, excited to go to work every day. And people are going to hear that joy in your auditions. They're going to hear that actual zest for life. Like, I literally cannot wait to get up and do auditions and, reach out to people on LinkedIn. It's fun.
Can't wait
So
for Monday so I can get up and go back to work again.
it's so fun. I work on the weekends sometimes,
Well, there you
if I feel
go.
like it. If
There you
nothing's
go.
happening, if I'm not needed,
Uh,
just depends.
I'm going to switch gears a little bit here because I don't want to miss this. I want to talk about Levi, Jesse, Jada, and Alina. Those are
Oh,
your
you're
four
so sweet.
kids,
That's
and
right.
you've
And you said all
got
their names right.
them doing voiceover. Tell me how that
They
happened.
Okay, so how it happened was people are like, "Oh, do you have kids? Oh, did they do voiceover? Here's an audition." They get auditions constantly. They get opportunities constantly just from voiceover friends or from my clients who are looking for a referral, or I don't know. I randomly get people from Mexico, Spain, Italy, China. They have
Do they
international
speak
clients, the
Chinese,
UK.
Italian, and
No.
Spanish?
No. These other countries are looking for English-speaking children.
Ah,
So, like, Jada had a client in the UK. So she's the almost 12-year-old. She booked a really cool digital ad campaign for Legoland Resort in 3 different locations. And I had to sit and negotiate that contract, and it ended up being quite a sum because I'm getting good at negotiating. I did take Dervla Trainer's class called the negotiating formula, or negotiation. I think it's negotiating formula. It was so good because you have to be able to negotiate a fair rate, one, not just for your own business and for making money for yourself, but for the greater good of the industry. People need to be charging the right rates
yes.
based on how will this be used? How long will it be used? What mediums, what platforms? Are there paid ads? Is it just organic?
So
all
many
these.
people stop at just, oh, session fee, but what's usage? Session fee is one thing, usage is something else. The last thing in the
Yes.
world you want to do is voice something and see those words in perpetuity.
Don't do it. Run away.
Yeah, run away.
Run away.
But back to the kids, another question. So, do they get to spend their money? Are they thinking about buying a Lambo, or is it going into the college fund?
Okay, so what do kids really need to buy, Dave? I'm paying for toothpaste, toilet paper, tuition, all the important tea things, right?
Well,
So,
video games.
yeah, they don't really play a lot of video games. No offense to all the video game people, but they're very, very busy. My son is so busy. He turned 16, and the minute he could drive, like he could drive, and then later that week he soloed in an airplane as well. This kid is
What?
going places. Yes, he's headed for either the PGA Tour or he's going to be a pilot. One or the other.
So he's been taking piloting lessons for how long?
Yes, for the past over a year, I think. Because you can start training early. You can take the written test, and then he goes and when he was 15, he started flying, I think, with his CFI or his certified flight instructor. So
Well,
he's having a good
when you
time.
finally make enough money that you can afford that private jet, you've already got your pilot.
Oh, please. I will never see him. This kid is so independent. But, I support that. All of my kids are so different. And as a parent, you know that you just support whatever dreams they have. You love them for who they are and whatever their personality is. And yeah, I mean, hopefully you can steer them away if they want to have like a degree in, I don't know, Russian literature. They always joke about underwater basket weaving and things
Well,
like
you
that.
can go ahead and get that degree in Russian literature, but understand that probably that's not what the career is going to be.
I mean, I don't
If you're
even know what people
interested
do
in
with
it,
that.
great, but not
I've
that
heard
many
some
job
degrees that
openings.
I'm just like, "What are you gonna do with that?" Like, I love that
Yeah.
you wanna learn, but what are you gonna do with that?
Oh
What's your
boy.
plan?
So, do you think
So, yeah, the
any of your
16
kids are going to go on and have adult careers in voiceover?
I don't know. I really don't know at this point because I don't wanna push them. I wanna give them opportunities and let them choose. So, it's one of those, rock and a hard place. I don't wanna become a dance mom, like, where I'm making them do something they hate. But right now, everybody's enjoying it. They love the money. They love the performance aspect of it. They love the professionalism. They're getting to work with all kinds of different people, different accents. There was one director that was Australian, and my daughter and I just kept giggling to ourselves because we just loved her accent.
Down under.
Oh, yeah, mate. I'm like going blank on what else to say, but my Australian accent is not great. But yeah, so the little one, she's almost 10 now. Her name's Alina, and as you know, and she's booking all kinds of stuff. She books a lot of sassy types of stuff. Like she did a Capital One commercial for radio, and it just said something like, "Not you, Derek Jeter. I was talking to the Capital One guy." She could be
I
very funny.
I have.
Did you hear
Now, was it a TV commercial or radio?
that? Okay, so there's a TV version, but she did the radio version.
Okay, I saw the TV version. I'm going to be looking out for that radio version. Oh, I know her mama.
I personally have not ever heard it, but they played the whole mix at the end of the session. It was great.
Yeah,
So she
it's
was very
funny.
funny.
You've never heard that. Um, I know for myself, I rarely hear the work that I've done, and I'm
Mhm.
working all the time, but other people do. And I
Yes, and
don't
they'll
know.
text and be like, "Was this you?"
I'm like, yeah, how come I don't hear it? Um, because of the nature of your career, one of the things you mentioned, a lot of times they're just sending you the script, you're doing the work, and then they call back and we want to change something. How do you handle feedback from clients with revisions? Sometimes
Um,
it's that the copy was wrong, they wanted to change it, or they wanted something different with your read. How do you handle those?
well, first you just ask questions. Okay, it sounds like you're looking for a different tone. Is that right? So basically, this whole thing is communication. First of all, you better understand what they're looking for in the first place. You need to send them a voice sample, even if they just say, oh, we like this spot on your demo. We like this clip. No, I don't do that. I say, okay, here is a short sample of your script. So I establish it right away. What tone are you even looking for? Because revisions don't tend to happen to me a whole lot because I'm asking a lot of questions and making sure I have the right answers in the first place because I ain't got time for that, Dave.
Eh,
But there are two types of revisions in my mind. One of them is if there's a script change. If there's a change to the script, that's on the client. They pay me for that. If I made a mistake and I mispronounced a word, but it's not going to happen during a live session because we're all going to catch that. But if it's something that I've self-recorded and sent in and I said a word wrong or mispronounced, a lot of times this will happen in e-learning, especially with like medical narration or technical narration. There's a lot of opportunities for errors. So that's on me. And I just had a client come back to me. It was a 2-hour project and they had 14 files that needed revising. All of them were my mistakes because it was really hard medical terminology. So, if that just made somebody feel good, I'm happy.
You know,
Because we all make mistakes.
my father was a doctor. I have a sister doctor. I have a niece that's a doctor. But I avoid medical narration because of the terminology. Because it's just for me, it's just not fun. Um,
It's
would you
hard.
ever think about just, you know what? I'm gonna pass on that.
No, money's too good. I'm keeping it. I do send it out for editing though, because I hate editing those big long projects. So I outsource that.
All
But
right, I'm gonna let
no, the money's too
another
good.
question get in here. And Joy, you have good questions, so I'm going to give you another one. Tracy, how are you at time management and balancing business and family? My day usually starts super early. What about yours?
Joy, I'm not a morning person. So I would rather stay up later and finish my auditions and things then. So this is kind of how my day goes. So right now we're in summer. So I have a different rhythm to my day. But the first thing is that you need to evaluate what does your life look like right now? And if you think you can have an ideal day, let's just make believe that we can plan our day. So have your morning routine, whatever it is, decide what time you're going to start your workday. For me, I'm going to start working at 9 o'clock. I don't want to start earlier than that. I don't love my life if I have to get up early. My husband's such a morning person. Dave, are you a morning person or is Mo?
Actually, neither of us.
Really?
I'm,
Usually it's like one or the other, right? Like one spouse is a
yeah.
night owl and one spouse is an early bird.
If I've got a really early session, something, across the ocean someplace, I will go ahead and get up. But I have to get up like an hour before I need to do any voiceover work to
Hmm.
let my voice get ready for the day. So
Yes.
I don't necessarily like doing that, but every now and then I have to. So
So
not
do you
not a
get and
morning person.
yeah, I mean, I do get up so I can see my husband off to work and I get up and I work out and I drink my coffee and kind of warm up but I don't actually want to work and my voice I don't think sounds very good. But yeah, I'll be up for about an hour and a half or 2 hours at least.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm usually
yeah.
getting up around in the summer, I'm setting my alarm for 7. During the school year, it's 6:30. But I think a good thing to do is to prioritize your day with auditions first and paid jobs. But if your voice still isn't ready, then pay close attention to that and do a different task before you do that. Maybe answer some emails, do some marketing. It also depends on where you are in your career. So new people should be doing a lot more marketing because that is your job. If you don't have clients, marketing is your job. Or if you only have a handful, if you're not making the kind of income that you want, then marketing is super important. Or some people they do better on the casting websites, so they focus on those with keeping their profile updated and having clips that people can listen to. But after, you're still dependent on other people for those casting websites on whatever the job is. So that's why I like marketing, because I don't have to depend on anybody else. It's on my shoulders to go out and get the business. And I like it that way.
Something you just said there I like, and I just want to reiterate it so people kind of get it. Your workday, say, starts at 9, ends at, say, 5. Well, let's just.
Usually 3.
Oh.
So I do about a 6-hour workday.
Better still. But if that workday is voiceover, jobs, auditions, and marketing. And during that period of time that is your workday, you're working one way or another. If you've got sessions all day, maybe you have to work a little extra to do a few more of those auditions, and maybe you forget marketing that day. But when
Right.
you're starting out, you definitely don't have that many auditions or that many jobs. So marketing should be the thing you're doing most. And as time
Mhm.
goes by, it changes.
Exactly.
But I'm going to say this: you always have to market. I don't consider myself a great marketer, but I know it must be done. So I do market. So whoever's out there, they're not just going to find you. You've got to let the world know you exist.
And marketing takes many forms. I mean, I really think we should do the thing that we enjoy. So I know some people focus on SEO for their website, or they'll farm that out, they'll outsource that. And that's a great way of inbound business work that, people are finding you through different keywording and things like that. The LinkedIn marketing works for me. I love it. Some people hate it. So find something else. Some people are into cold emails and kind of cracking the code on subject lines and things like that. Got to give a shout out to Tom Aglio. If you are looking for a direct email sort of coach, he does a great job with that. Really smart. But really, you just kind of have to find your lane, find what you enjoy. And it will also depend on what your day looks like, the genres you want to work in. And there is no one size fits all. That's the nature of this business. Is it's very personal and individualized.
I'm going to invoke the AI. Do you use AI to do any marketing or writing for your marketing?
I'm pretty adverse to AI. I think it sounds like AI, but it is getting smarter, uh, unfortunately. And so there's it's really quite the Pandora's box. But I think that it can be used. I do recommend it for people that are getting maybe writer's block about what to write about themselves in their about section in their LinkedIn, or maybe they're not sure they want AI to write them some templates based on this information. And that's fine. Use it as a jumping off point and then humanly edit it. Put yourself into it, personalize it. Never just send out what the AI spits out, and definitely cut down on the emojis, probably, because AI tends to use a lot of emojis when it comes to social media posting. I've noticed that trend.
Clearly, I'm not using enough AI. Had no idea about the AI emojis.
Although, I say that and then I'm writing my own post and I'll still put in emojis because I do like them. I think they're fun, but I've seen them overused too. So just everything in moderation. It's like
All right.
cookies.
So, what time? No, we got a little more time. I'm going to go to another question here. And clearly, Sherry joined us late, but repetition is how we learn. So, Sherry Austin, what is the best way to start looking for VO jobs? Where do you start after you have completed professional training courses?
Well, I mean, I personally like LinkedIn. It is one way. I'm not saying any way is the best way, but for me, it was the best way for my career to move forward, by LinkedIn with LinkedIn marketing. And Cherie, if you're joining us late and you didn't see the first part, then I did share the 3 steps of how I market on LinkedIn. So go back and check that out. But I would say just finding a method that works for you. In person can work well too if you have enough. I mean, it's going to be limited to whatever area you can be in. But I have found, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Diversify with whatever you're doing. If someone is a bilingual voice actor, that you would want to kind of market yourself. I hate to be like gross about it, but make sure that people who speak, if you're let's just say somebody is a Spanish speaker, mingle with the English speakers so that you guys can refer each other. Referrals are very important. I have referrals for all kinds of people. I'll say, I'll have clients ask me for any number of ethnicities, accents, um, genders, or someone non-binary or whatever. I don't know what they're going to ask for. So I keep a running list of people, just different types of people in my life who I would like to send business to. And that's why we want to go to conferences and things like that, because people want to refer you when they get to know you. So that's another way. Going to conferences is actually a pretty decent marketing tool in itself.
That's a very good question. I'm glad you brought that up. What is the best way to handle a convention? People go to things like VO Atlanta, that's voiceover, VOcation. And I have noticed sometimes I get the comment that, oh, I'm kind of overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. I'm nervous. I don't want to talk to people. What do you have to get over, and what should you be doing when you're going to those conferences? How can they benefit you?
Man, it is overwhelming, especially with VO Atlanta. It's the biggest conference we've got in the industry, and it is a lot. Your voice is probably going to be a little sore. You're going to be tired. Um, you want to make sure you take all your vitamins because there's a lot of cooties. um, I didn't get sick after I came home this year. Did you?
No.
I don't usually. So
Yeah.
I bet I have 4 kids, so I'm around cooties all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And I
Oh,
even
teachers and parents, they get sick for a minute, and then they're strong because germs
yes,
cannot penetrate.
love the accent. But anyway, I would just say, and conferences aren't the only way to network. You can do that online too. But I would just say, be a kind person. Look for ways that you can say nice things and encourage people that you actually mean them, genuine, authentic comments. Um, but when you're at a conference, I would just look at who's around you. If you're in an X session, you're getting everybody's name there and who they are. Um, I usually choose an X session because of maybe an agent that I want to get to know. I'm with DPN, and so I wanted to meet, for instance, Liz Klossner she was there this year, and she's on the New York side. And that's been sort of a new development with merging the New York and the LA. And so I really wanted to get to know her. So I made sure to take her X session, because how else can I really know her? Plus,
She
I want to
gets
know
to
what
know
she's looking
you.
for. Exactly. And when you work with your agents, then you can really understand what they're looking for from your auditions, and you understand just their direction, and you just see inside their brain just a little bit more. I loved watching her direct. It was so empowering, and just really enjoyed it. And the year before that, I took David Salazar's class, and he's also with DPN, but he's on the LA side. So building those agent relationships is really important to me. So that's how I will choose my X sessions, as the people that are teaching them. And then there's a plethora of classes. You can learn so much, and you can just dip your toe in if you're interested in some other genre that you've never tried.
And some things don't cost money. The X sessions, of course, cost money, but you can go to breakout sessions where perhaps you
Yes.
don't get to read, but you do get some insights uh, that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise. If you're new to this, what I suggest you do is make a friend with somebody else who also might be new. Um, and so you can talk to one another. You have somebody to go to X sessions and breakout sessions with. And the thing I find most important, don't be afraid to say hello to people.
Right.
Uh, I know when I walk through VO Atlanta, people are going to talk to me, and I encourage that. At the same time, sometimes it's a curse. Gee, I got to be someplace from this side to this side of the room in
Yeah.
30
You're
seconds,
kind
and
of
yeah, I got to.
recognizable.
Okay. But
Yeah.
understand that the people who are there, that you're looking up to, who have great careers, they're there because they want to talk to you. They want to share information with you. So don't be afraid to ask. Now, don't be a pest. Don't be that person that just won't go away. No, I'm following you around. Can we have lunch together? You don't want to be that
Creepy.
person. Uh, but do interact. Interact. Yeah.
Yeah, and then if maybe you could choose a smaller conference that you can get to know people a little bit better because there aren't as many. And so that's the benefit of a smaller conference is you can really have more quality relationships with people. Like Vocation, when we went to Cancun together 2 years ago,
Yeah.
it was
Or was
2023,
it 3?
or was it three?
It's 25
I
now. Yeah, two
I don't
years ago.
remember.
2 years ago.
I
Two
think it
years
was
ago.
2023.
Yeah.
But it was so fun just hanging out with you and Mo next to the pool. We're all in our swimsuits, and that in itself is like a bonding thing, right?
Uh,
Like we're all-
so a bonding thing. And I was going to say, uh, VOcation. Um, I love VO Atlanta. I like that's voiceover. But VOcation is special because you're out
it
there in
is.
the sun, you're on the beach. Well, it's kind of a beach in the resort.
Mhm.
Everything, once you paid your money, you've paid all the money you're going to pay. Everybody is relaxed, having a wonderful time. It is one of the best conferences you can go to learn something and really still have a vacation.
Yeah, it really was fun. Last year I know was Costa Rica, and coming up next year in April of 2026, it'll be Curacao. So,
Oh,
lots of opportunities.
there you
Yeah, to
go. There you
travel and
go.
have fun, get to know people.
Well, listen, Tracy, our time is up. Thank
Goes
you.
so fast.
Thank you. An hour goes by fast. Thank you for all your insights. I think you're somebody that people need to hear from. You have a lot to say, um, a lot of information on building your business from a place that you ordinarily wouldn't think of being able to build a voiceover business from. But you
Yeah, I
can.
mean, being from a flyover state and starting a career right before you get pregnant with your 4th baby is not ideal. But anything can be done, you know? Just don't be afraid to grow small. I remember I made no money. Of course, I went in the hole my first year. Second year, I know I took home 12,000, so 1,000 a month. Third year was 24,000 and I just kept building, you know? And then by the time I got to year 5, I had met that six-figure income that I really wanted and then kept building from there. And all things are possible, but I think being kind, being genuine with people is a really big factor. And also not being afraid to stay curious and ask questions, but don't be a pest, like you said. Maybe bug different people.
Yeah. Yeah,
But there's
absolutely.
so much great information,
Absolutely.
but hard
Tracy,
work.
th- bingo, bingo, bingo. Thank you so much. This was a wonderful hour. Just lots of wonderful information and always wonderful to see you. Uh,
You
my
too.
best from Mo and I to you and your husband and your four little voiceover divas.
Thank you. Thank you. It's good to see you, Dave, and it's sweet of you to mention the kids. I always enjoyed talking about them. I can't help myself.
Well, that's because you are a mom. All right, gonna say goodbye to Tracy, Stacy, brain get clicking the gear, Tracy, uh, and I have to say goodbye to you too. But before that, let me let you know this and all the other Ask Dave Fennoy Anythings live on my YouTube channel, Dave Fennoy Voiceover Training. If you want to do some training with me, davefennoy.com, click on the Study VO tab at the top. And between now and next Wednesday, you know what I want you to do. Book something.